This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
Okay, so like she said, we're from Medical College of Wisconsin. My name's Noelle. I'm one of the chief residents.
And I'm Will. I'm another chief resident.
So just some background information for MCW. So we're an advanced program. So we have a PGY2, PGY3, and PGY4 year. We have 6 residents per class for 18 total. And we really have a diverse group of residents from all across the country. You can kind of see in the map here. I'm actually from Colorado.
Yeah, and I'm from Virginia. So we're all over the place.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button here. These are our program director and associate program directors. Dr. Goodfriend's the program director, and Dr. Ball and Dr. Kasonis are the associate program directors. These 3 people here really are one of the highlights of our program. They care so much about us residents, and they really advocate for us when needed. And they're just really, really great people. Other kind of important people for our program, Mary Inlows, she's our program coordinator. She's actually new this year. And Dr. Ree is our interim chair of our department, and he is new this year as well, serving as, like I said, the interim chair. So we work at several different locations in our residency. Of course, Froedtert Hospital, Children's, the VA, which is the Clement J, is the Blocky VA. And then Froedtert Blue Mound is our freestanding rehab hospital. We spend a lot of time there, of course, PM&R. And then we also kind of circulate through several different outpatient clinics, the Tosa Health Center, Mequon, and Orthopedic Sports and Spine. They're kind of dabbled all over the place. So breakdown of our rotations, the majority of our rotations are 2 months at a time. And our PGY2 year has a pretty strong inpatient focus. So we kind of broke down what each year looks like. So the PGY2 year, you spend 11 months doing inpatient, and you split that between Blue Mound and the VA. You also spend some time at Children's for your 2 months of pediatrics. And then 1 month of an outpatient MSK clinic. Your PGY3 year, you're going to do 3 months of inpatient and actually 9 months of outpatient, which includes our EMG. And then PGY4 year, you do 2 months of inpatient, 10 months of outpatient, and you circle back to EMG again in the PGY4 year. So our call schedule, what everybody wants to know, we do home call here at this program, and then also have weekday call as well as weekend call, and that's 2 separate kind of teams or residents that do that. So there's one person who covers weekday call Monday through Friday. They cover all the inpatient services, so our freestanding rehab hospital at Blue Mound, and then the patients at the VA as well. And then Froedtert, our main hospital, if there's any sort of like baclofen pump emergencies or spasticity things, any type of consults like that. So that's like the Monday through Friday call, and that's one resident who covers that. And then on the weekend, at Blue Mound, the freestanding hospital, you split it with 2 between two people in the VA, there's one person on call for the weekend. And that's kind of just like a Friday at 5 p.m. to Monday at 7 a.m. So you do go in and round on the patients, but then and write your notes, and then you can go home. And kind of throughout our residency, kind of a good thing I think is kind of as you work through the program, the call responsibility becomes like fewer and fewer weekends. And so our PGY 2-year, obviously it's a little more heavy on the call. There's 12 weekends, 5 weekdays. And then as you progress through the years, it becomes less and less. So your PGY 4-year, you don't have to do any weekday call and just 4 to 5 weekends. And we don't work on the weekends at all unless you are in fact on call. And so there's plenty of time to do like sports coverage or, just kind of chill, relax with your family, and get ready for the next week.
And just one other quick thing to actually throw in back there too is that our freestanding rehab, it currently has a 50-bed census right now. Between the VA SCI and the VA general units combined, it can run around 20, 25. So on the weekdays, normally you're covering around like 75 patients. The one other nice thing about kind of having that heavy intensive call in the PGY 2-year is that you're mainly doing inpatient that year too. So it really lines up with the call that you're doing because you will know the patients a little bit better. So I do find that, as you go into that 3 and the 4-year and you're doing more outpatient, it does kind of help to have less call then because you're less familiar with the patients too. So the timing of the call is kind of corresponding with the amount of inpatient you get to.
Yeah, so some of our educational activities, we have didactics every week. So we have a weekly academic half day. It's on Wednesdays right now, Wednesday afternoons. One thing that's really great about our didactics is we actually go through everything each year. And so you see all the material 3 times. So that's pretty beneficial. And then of course we focus on like board relevant and clinically relevant material. We also have a year-long anatomy and physical exam course, which again, we go through 3 times, and also EMG kind of didactics as well. And then we have, 6 months of ultrasound and didactic practice. They kind of incorporate that alongside the physical exam and anatomy lectures. And it's kind of like each week we sort of cycle and transition through the anatomy, then the physical exam, then the ultrasound. So it all kind of correlates. The pictures on the right are actually something new that started this year. One of our PGY4 residents started an interest group club, and one of our sports medicine doctors, Dr. Curtis, helps lead it for anyone interested in more experience with ultrasound. And so those are some pictures actually just from this last week. And then we do some oral board prep. There's a couple attendings that kind of head this, and it's sort of one-on-one, coaching and practice. They try and hit that every year and kind of, escalate as the years go on. We have a monthly journal club that we do, and research didactics to kind of help guide you. We do have a requirement of a research or QI project in residency. And so there's a lot of great resources to help guide you, including this didactic series that kind of sets you up with, who are your resources, who can you go to for help. And then we have a weekly case conference. This is on Tuesday. It's basically each resident each week gets assigned a certain topic like spinal cord injury, and then you present on an interesting case that you've had and do kind of a small sort of like educational thing after you present your patient. And then we also do morbidity and mortality conferences. So it ends up to be roughly about 6 to 7 per resident. Here's just a couple more pictures, doing some part of our EMG case conference series. This is Will doing a Botox injection. We do some stuff with like virtual reality here. And they really try and get us involved with the equipment and using it ourselves so that, we have a better idea how to guide patients. So MCW fellowships, we have a management fellowship that's ACGME accredited, a spinal cord injury fellowship, also ACGME accredited, and a sports medicine fellowship. It's through the orthopedic department, but also ACGME accredited. And then we also have a comprehensive neurorehabilitation and spasticity management fellowship. This one is non-ACGME accredited at this point, and there's 2 in the country, so it's really quite special that we have one of them here and we get to experience that. So past graduate, kind of just a breakdown of who goes into fellowship and who goes straight into practice. As you can see, in the most recent years, we really have a lot of residents going into fellowship. So, you know, we're really quite set up to be competitive to really get those fellowships that we want. And here's kind of a breakdown of past graduates and where they have attended fellowship. I won't go through this, but you can kind of scan through. So we also have 2 kind of tracks if you're interested. You don't have to do either of these, but if you have a particular interest in research, we have like a lot of, I don't know, like how many MD, PhDs we have.
In the program, like 3, 4.
Yeah, we have quite a few who, you know, have a particularly strong interest in research, and several of them do this research intensive track. So you kind of get some protected time to really focus on your research. And then the medical education tract, this is kind of being revived this year for residents interested in academic medicine or medical education. So if you have more questions on this, certainly let us know.
All right, and then to talk about the city, so background, obviously Noelle's from Colorado, I'm from Virginia, so we're not used to the cold as much as it is here, but we do have seasons here, and we'll get into that in a second. So just a little bit about life in the city itself. So Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's actually the pretty big city, bigger than I expected. It's 31st biggest in the country. Biggest city in Wisconsin, and it's actually close to quite a few different cities too. When you're looking at residency, one thing I always recommend is looking at the area that you're going to see if you'd be interested in it. The thing that I kind of like about Milwaukee is it's a city in itself, but it's surrounded by nature. It's on the water on Lake Michigan, but then it's also surrounded by major other cities too. So you have Madison, that's within basically an hour of here. That's like more of a college town vibe. Chicago, obviously a major city, is an hour and a half. We have Green Bay, obviously for Packer games. That's in 2 hours from here, and also go Packers. I know they started 3 minutes ago, so hoping they do well tonight.
Go Broncos, too. Also the Broncos.
I will say I'm actually from Baltimore too, so Ravens fan too. But we're also close to Twin Cities too. I make that drive a lot. It's a major city too. It's usually around 4.5 hours, but if you're looking to do a weekend trip, it's a nice place to go as well. So we do have a little bit of variety in the city in itself. So like I said, we're on Lake Michigan. We have a lakefront. Bottom right is actually pictures of the lakefront. They also do a festival called Summerfest, giant music festival that's actually held on the lakefront itself. So really kind of good vibes in like the summer, fall time. The top right, we actually did get the Aurora Borealis here. This is actually taken from the beach, from my own camera too. So stayed up till like 1 a.m. to get this picture, but we obviously have kind of great nature out here too. So not just a city, but we also have water here as well. And just to kind of reiterate, we do have seasons. I will admit, the winters can get long, usually I would say like November to May-ish, if that sounds about right, maybe
Yeah.
October to May. So they can last a little bit long, but it's not like we're in Canada or anything like that. So we do get a variety here. Top right is from Door County, which is north of here. It kind of has a more of a lake town vibe, kind of reminds me of kind of northeast, like Acadia, Maine kind of area. And then we also have obviously kind of spring and summer activities here too. We're also known as the city of festivals. So bottom left is the Summerfest I was talking about. We get huge name musicians here. I think last year, I mean, we got Maroon 5, which I guess no longer is that big of a name, but we do have other people in the past that have come. Brittany Howard came last year too. We also have a bunch of different festivals. Wisconsin State Fair is listed here, Bastille Day, Irish Festival, German Festival, Brady Street, basically going year round too. So there's always something to do, whether you're kind of younger, whether you have a family, there's always activities for both groups. And then also can't say that without saying anything about the sports here. Fantastic sports scene. So obviously we have the Milwaukee Bucks that won the championship a few years back with the NBA. We have the Milwaukee Brewers who are currently doing well now, and we're hoping actually do well in the playoffs too. The Packers, we're planning on hopefully doing a game, I think this season in November. We actually make the drive up to Lambeau. And then we have the Milwaukee Admirals, which I don't believe are an NHL team, but still fun to go to nonetheless. So all these opportunities for sporting events, and it does have a small town vibe too. So that's kind of nice for these events. And all these pictures just to show there's other stuff here too. We're known for our breweries. We have Miller Lite based out of here. Giant concerts here too. Kendrick Lamar came a couple years back. We do have a movie club. This is actually the famous Oriental Theater in the middle right here too. And we actually do have skiing here too, which is shocking because we are the Midwest, but we have hills. Then very quickly, just about our program. This is actually our current 4, 3, and 2 class. We're missing Noelle in this picture, but we'll get her next time. One brief thing to touch on is the National Veterans Wheelchair Games. Our VA is highly involved in this event. It's basically an event where veterans come from across the country and compete in 20-something different games. A few of us got to go this past year in New Orleans. We got Pierre the Pelican that actually visited on the top right there, but it's actually a very rewarding experience. One of the best I've ever really had in my residency. And if you're interested in either sports or spinal cord injury as a fellowship, highly recommend it. It's a fantastic experience. And just to briefly cover, we do have sideline coverage here. We do a lot of high school and college sporting events. That's basketball, that's soccer, football, wrestling, hockey. We really run the gamut here. We do have that sports fellowship. It is through the orthopedics department, but the PD is actually PM&R trained too. So you do get to rotate with her. And then just to briefly touch, we do have resident activities all the time. We go to Marquette games, we'll go skiing, we have a golf club. And then our boy Harmon on the bottom left here wearing that like Pete Schrager-esque jacket right here, actually got us courtside game passes to the Nuggets against the Bucks. So one of our co-residents got trash talked by DeAndre Jordan, which was a really unique once-in-a-lifetime experience. We do have family activities. We have members that have children, have families. I'm currently engaged. I'm going to be married next month too. So a few of us will be going down for that. So it's a very fun experience up here with the families. And obviously I know we're running a little bit short on time here, but I just want to quickly touch on, there are different neighborhoods in Milwaukee. Obviously there is Third Ward, which is the downtown area that everyone always kind of sees with the skyline, a lot of good shopping, young culture there. Wauwatosa is kind of more of the suburbs where the hospital is located. We have a massive bike race here every year, and it's also good for food, good for drink as well. I live here, and I love it here. We have Bayview, which is kind of more of a city vibe. Lots of good bars out here and a lot of good walks. And then Brady Street, which has the infamous Brady Street Festival, and it has a very big college vibe. A lot of Marquette students kind of around this area. So just kind of quickly, the takeaway points from this, we're both from a different area, and what we've both found is that Milwaukee is an amazing city. It's amazing program for training, but it's also fun for like your family, for your friends, for meeting new people, lots of opportunities. We have a lot of sideline coverage. We're competitive for all fellowships, and we do a lot of research here too. We have exceptional exposure to a lot of fields of PM&R. I'd just like to shout out spasticity, EMG, and spinal cord injury in particular. I think for the residency are particular strong suits of this program. And like I mentioned, we're competitive for fellowships and applications after residency. And finally, the people are the best. When I first interviewed here, I got good vibes from both the attendings that we hang out with and the residents, and that's continued since we've been here. So we're all very happy to be here. We're happy with all of our co-residents and our attendings, and we hope you guys learn more too, and we can open it up to any questions if anyone has it. We got a chat. All right. Well, thanks for that. The question kind of came from MZD from Hopkins. It says, have you had any US IMGs in the past or currently? And if there's a step 2 CK cutoff, I'm not fully aware if we've had any IMGs here. I think we would have to check. You don't know anything more about that, do you?
Think of any in the most recent years, but probably not for any particular reason. And in terms of step 2 cutoff, no. I really feel like, and kind of what Will touched on, like the vibe here and we're kind of like a big family. And I think that, once you get the interview, it's kind of like, we really want to get to know you. And so in general, and this is just like general advice for applications, don't limit yourself, just apply. Like if they tell you no, they tell you no, but just go for it.
Yeah, it's definitely about the vibes here.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Go Ravens too. That loss hurt so bad last night, but I appreciate it.